Thinking about moving to Somerville or just curious as to what makes this neighborhood so special? Well, today's video, I'm going to be taking you through the housing market, some great spots to eat, some great spots to just explore, all with the help of our trusty map so you can actually see it all and get a great sense of what Somerville is all about. So stick around because we'll be covering everything. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Mike O'Brien. I'm a Boston and Greater Boston real estate agent and expert. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a visual on-the-ground guide to Somerville. This is a video I'm really partial to, really looking forward to, as I called Somerville home for a number of years. So we'll be looking again at the housing market, different neighborhoods, some great spots, some of my favorite spots, maybe some spots that only the locals know. So again, this isn't just a map tour. This is a full interactive guide to see if Somerville might be the right fit for you. So let's get started. All right, let's go to the map here, tell you all about Somerville. You can see Boston, dead center, and Somerville just northwest of the city. So we got a little trip up 93 here, or maybe maybe a trip around Route 3 through Cambridge or Storrow Drive for the locals. But yeah, Cambridge right here. You have Medford north of the city, and Somerville right tucked in between there. So Somerville, kind of technically the home of Tufts, as Tufts really straddles the Medford and Somerville line. And actually, the line cuts right through Tufts campus. But this is in a great spot, great neighborhood for people who want to kind of live in the city or near the city without actually living in the city. This option a little bit north of the city across the Charles River. So let's get into Somerville a little bit. And again, I'm partial to Somerville. I called it home for a number of years. And Somerville is all about the squares. You see Davis Square here. That's probably the main square of Somerville. But if you start to scroll in a little bit, you're going to see Teal Square popping up here, perhaps to your left. There it is, Teal Square. You come down here, you see Magoon Square. You have Ball Square as well. You get a little bit further down to the south of Somerville. You're going to have Union Square. So, and actually Union Square is down here. So again, it's all about the squares. We're going to get into it as well. But I want to take you through the housing market a little bit here in Somerville. So let's talk about it as we switch over to the MLS. So you're getting let behind the scenes a little bit here. And Somerville, not exactly a neighborhood with a lot of single families. A lot of the single families have been converted into, double deckers, triple deckers. And so you just see how much inventory is out there in Somerville right now in the single family market. Just looking at currently on the market here in 2025, active listings, 18. And we'll start to get a sense of what the pricing you see right away. A 6-bedroom, 4.5 bath Victorian north of, just about to hit $3 million. So single family market, very expensive. You see a lot of these homes that are definitely in the 7 figures as opposed to, the 6 figures. You do have one down here and one right there. But so average list price, right now, Somerville, as a lot of neighborhoods, a lot of markets are in and around the Boston area. You have an average list price of nearly $1.7 million. Again, but some big houses there, almost 4,000, more than 4,000 square feet. So again, the opportunities are few and far between, and that's partially why they are so expensive, because the inventory, 18 on the market right now, that's definitely not a lot. But if we take a look at the sold properties year to date, just to see what the market has been. So that is 29. And if we look at the sales right now, a little bit different, a little lower list price at 1.54. So essentially 1.5. Lasting here, lasting 40 days on the market, a little bit more days to offer, a little less than a month and a half, or rather a little less than 2 months, perhaps. No, I had it right the first time, a little more than a month and a half on the market. And there are some sales, obviously, that are going below that list price. So, but again, you're seeing a lot in the 7-figure range, $1 million, $2 million. But some kicking around in that high 6-figure range, but you're going to probably see those more more in the lower square footage. So that's a single family market. And again, the Somerville market really dominated by condominiums, which really we're going to find a lot of your opportunities. So we take out the single family, look at the condos. There we go. On the market right now, 73. Okay, what does that look like? So again, much more affordable options, right? All the way down below $500,000, which, in some markets may seem not inexpensive at all, but when you're talking about Boston markets, it definitely is relatively. A lot of new properties coming to market this week. So that's fun to see. And if we scroll down again, and this is the condo market we're looking at right now. So again, a lower list price, significantly lower than the single family market. You have 970 average list price right now. Things been lasting on the market again for about a month and a half. So that's just the active listings on. And if we go to just organized by list price, again, opportunities at more affordable prices when you're looking at condos, either brownstones, townhomes, even mid-rise or low-rise condominiums. And you have to scroll down a little bit before you start working into that $1 million range. And there are plenty of them, don't get me wrong, but just to give you a sense of the market and just let you know what things have been selling for. So again, this is year to date in 2025, 163 sales. Again, affordable options. And I just want to scroll down to let's see what things have been looking like in terms. So they've been listing for a little less than 950 and going for a little bit more. So again, the competitive markets here in Boston, and they have been going for above list price and just lasting, over a month on days to offer, average days to offer, which is a very quick timeline. So Somerville, very competitive in the condo market right now, and definitely competitive in the single family market. And we'll take a look at rentals. Why wouldn't we? So if we look at rentals on the market right now, there's going to be a ton. Imagine 200 on the market right now. And just to show you a little bit, actually, one bedrooms, studios, running high teens into the 2000s already. Keep on scrolling down. The 1 and 2 beds all going to be in the 2000s range, high 2000s, depending. I mean, when we start to get into the 2 bedrooms, now you're starting to get into high 2000s and definitely 3000s per month. And, if you're going really luxury, let's see what the most expensive apartment on the market is. There you go, $7,500, 5 bedroom. So there you go. So again, a little bit of the housing market. I wanted to show you what it's all about. Let's get back to the map and kind of show you all that is Somerville. And I was a little remiss of not just all these squares, but definitely another square. So Assembly Square is this huge new development retail space. Let's just get on the ground and show you. This was not a thing. Like a lot of kind of sections of Boston and around Boston, certain areas have really developed over the last couple years. And Assembly Square, just like every time you drive by, every week, every month, it seems like something new is going up. So Assembly Square has kind of become one of the hotter kind of retail commercial spaces, residential as well. So you're going to find a lot of apartments here. And I'm just going to get you down on the ground. You have your Tate's, you have your Nike factory store, your J. Crew factory store, and a ton of fun restaurants down here as well. So again, this is all really new, like in the last decade. And you have kind of your high-end boutiques, Polo, Ralph Lauren. What else is around here? Got Ann Taylor. Let's get a close-up of that. And so Assembly Square has become really a thriving kind of social scene. Southern Kin, great restaurant. You have your Pandora's, your La Creuset. You want some high-end cookware, Levi's, all. And this has become a real, like, not only a fun spot for grabbing a bite, grabbing a drink. As you see, construction happening seemingly always here. There's J. Crew. JP Licks, can't go wrong with that. But it's become a great spot for green space, hanging out. They used to have volleyball courts down here. If I see if I can get in above here. But if we go a little bit further this way, let's see if we can back out. So yeah, Assembly Square right by the waterfront. And you can see some trails cutting through Baxter Park here and some playgrounds, scrolling a little bit. And so some nice green space down by Assembly Square. You have your Trader Joe's over here. What else can I show you in Assembly Square? And so yeah, this is kind of your intramural sports park over here. Volo, those are pickleball. They do their volleyball. Looks like you got some bocce here too. Also, you got the barbecue smoke shop over here. You have your Tate. There's a Ruth's Chris as well. And also, it's become a center for Mass Brigham General, Lucky Strike. So again, Google Assembly Square. Go through this yourself a little bit, but this has been, I can't go through all the restaurants here. There's just too many, but this has become a nice kind of anchor, if you will, of Assembly Square. I mean, of Somerville in general. So Assembly Square, make sure you check that out. But if we scroll back out to the greater Somerville area, you can see pretty jam-packed, pretty condensed, right? So if we just head down to, let's head on down to Highland Avenue, for example. If we can, we'll see if we can find that. And we wait for my map to reload here. Now let's get out of this. There we go. And sorry, we're going to get down to the ground level a little bit, but you start to see some of the major thoroughfares. Highland Avenue is really the main thoroughfare that connects east side of Somerville all the way down to Davis Square and the west side of Somerville. You have Broadway that kind of skirts right along that, eventually that Somerville Medford line. And you also have Medford Street cutting diagonally and Summer Street as well. And again, Cambridge right over here. Porter Square right on the other side of that Cambridge Somerville line. But let's go down to Highland Avenue. Again, major thoroughfare. Start to see some of the housing. And I get to show you some of my spots as well. So are we on Highland Ave? We are. By the way, always not just like retail space and commercial space, but a ton of developments and renovation happening as well. So this is Highland Ave as we work our way towards Davis Square. And again, you're going to see some restaurants, you're going to see some retail space. I have to pause right now because Highland Kitchen, great brunch, great spot to grab a bite. I'm not sure if they do brunch anymore. I'm pretty sure they do, but great spot to grab a bite regardless. Fun theme nights too. I went to a spelling bee night there, kind of like trivia, but different. You're doing a spelling bee. I did not do well, but maybe we'll go back and try again. So again, it kind of bounces back and forth between the commercial and the residential. So you start to see some of the single families I'm talking about. More back here, and you start to see some of these single families that have been converted, double deckers. So really multifamilies that have been converted accordingly. But there's just some great architecture and some great, home fronts on Highland Ave. But yeah, if you're looking for big backyards, a lot of yard space, not necessarily going to be finding that in Somerville. I mean, there are going to be opportunities, but just in general, again, you're seeing, oops, as we kind of got off, but that's a fun home right there. So sorry, my map's doing, that's been a little slow, but hopefully, as we focus in, there's I believe that's the Masons, there's the Armory. Arts at the Army, now Art Space. If I remember correctly, back in the day, it also used to be a gathering space for the Masons. So again, all these double deckers, triple deckers, just lining up and interspersed throughout Highland Avenue. But again, we work our way down to Davis Square, and let's just speed this up a little bit and get down to Davis Square, because a lot of development is going to be happening in theory in Davis Square sometime soon. So if we get down to Davis, and this is one of my favorite sections. Again, I'm biased. I used to live right outside Davis Square, and loved it when it was, again, just able to walk to so many fun spots. So yes, this is Davis Square, Davis Squared, great little local boutique shop. So we start to get into Davis Square. And this is just all commercial and retail retail space, I should say. I got to scroll over to my left because if it's there, great tacos. This is a little, I got to go back because there we go. Suruman Davis. Awesome ramen there. I went too far, but between the tacos and the ramen, you can't go wrong with that, that whole stretch. And so this is Davis Square. This is just real quick, always going to be a traffic nightmare if you're driving through. They blocked this off. This used to be, they used to be able to drive through there, but with the outdoor seating now, they've blocked that off. So College Avenue will start to get you down to Tufts, as will this way as well. Also, your Davis Square T station is right. Come on. Right there. So Davis Square Red Line. And I just want to show you Mike's. Great pizza, great sandwiches. Really, they have a little bit of everything there. And down the way, a couple spots I definitely need to show you. One, local coffee, Diesel Cafe. Unbelievable coffee. Listen, if you want the more traditional, Starbucks is right across the street as well. And down on the corner is a Dunkin' Donuts. So you get all your coffee here. Rockwell, great music and theater venue, arts venue, if you will. Down under the Rockwell is a speakeasy called a speakeasy. Oh God, I'm blanking on the speakeasy here. But if you go down this little, it's not the Foundry because the Foundry is right there. But a good restaurant. Burren, great music venue, Irish pub. They're artists in there all the time playing live Irish music, just sitting basically next to the bar in the seats. And so if you have if you're free on just a random weekend night, Foundry, and thank you for that. If you're free on a random weekday night or even the weekend, chances are you're gonna be able to walk in and hear some great Irish music. So this entire stretch, by the way, it hasn't happened yet, but there is talks of this stretch being developed for, I think it's close to 300 unit condo / apartment building. So this space over this is all going to be developed into a building. So it's something they've been talking about, something I think they've been planning for a long time. It hasn't been set in stone and absolutely confirmed and approved and all that, but this could be an area that's going to be developed and really help the housing and number of units and condos available for Somerville residents. So this continues through Davis Square. You have Painted Borough, great margaritas, great margaritas, great burritos, great tacos. I passed it back here. Let's see if this is it. Is that Dragon Pizza? Dragon Pizza. One of my favorite slices in Somerville or in Davis Square. Well, really, anywhere. But I would be remiss if I didn't take you through Davis Square and then also tell you about Rosebud. right here. So how cool does this place look? So like an old dining car that has been converted into a much bigger restaurant, extends all the way back. Definitely amazing brunch there too. If you don't feel like sitting down, you can hit up the donut shop right next door in Davis Square. Unbelievable donuts. So again, just a couple spots in Davis Square. Really, I would say one of the if Assembly Square is your anchor of the east side of Somerville, then Davis Square is your anchor of the sorry. Yeah, some Assembly Square is your east side anchor, then Davis Square is your west side anchor. We got there. So let's get Dragon Pizza out of here. But another cool thing I want to show you here as we scroll out. We talk a little bit about the little green space and kind of spots to explore. Let's wait for the map to load up here. So the Somerville Community Path. And this is, let's see if we can get a picture of this. There you go. A little 3D. Might be a little hard to see, no matter how much we scroll in. But this path, you see the fade, the kind of the fade underneath. But let's go back to the regular view just so you can see it. So we're following this green line. And this is basically a biking, running trail. A lot of people use this to commute from the Davis Square T station to wherever they live down in Somerville. But the cool thing about this is it just not only runs the entire span of Somerville. So again, scrolling out, this goes all the way down, follows the tracks there, and takes you basically across and through Cambridge and across the bridge into Boston. So not only does it connect you through Cambridge into Boston, but we follow it back up. It's not going to take you out the other side of Somerville, but it starts to now connect you to Arlington and get you to the waterway there and little pond. And you can work your way up to Spy Pond as well. Yeah, so yeah, Spy Pond as it continues up. Spy Pond. So it's kind of, I'm not sure it's sneaky because if you live in Somerville, you definitely know about it, but it's just a great spot to, you can literally, depending on where you live, walk out the back of your house and just get onto the pathway here and make your way down through Somerville, down to the city, down to Arlington, and really enjoy your commute, walk, bike, run, whatever you have going on. So definitely want to make sure you saw that. And I do want to take you to Magoon Square real quick. Again, a lot of squares here. Just because one of my favorite spots there. That's not it. But, can't go too far in Boston without hitting a Dunkin' Donuts, let's be honest. So we go across the way and we keep on going. There it is, Old Magoon Saloon. Just love this spot for good food, good wings, and also good trivia nights. So a little bit of an Irish feel. Maybe I'm biased with my last name, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. So let's scroll back out. All right. So we focus a little bit on the west side of Somerville. I want to take it back down to the east side. Again, we did talk about Assembly Square, but I need to also mention Union Square as well, because some great spots there. And by the way, you have your Market Basket, one of the local supermarkets. But if we get into Union Square and Bow Market, definitely need to show you these. So all right, so let's get into Union Square. So welcome to Union Square. I overshot a little bit, so let's go back down this way. And now we are firmly in the square. Independent, great spot for a bite. Really a ton of great spots right on the stretch. You have Bronwyn right here. Down this way, you have Field and Vine. Let's see if they'll let me go down this way. Yes, thank you. Bronwyn talked about that. There it is, Beer Garden. And they will let us go all the way down there. So Jungle, fun music venue. Make sure you check that out. So this is a little bit of a hidden alley, hidden gem. So not only do you have Field and Vine here, maybe as far as they let me go, but great local food, farm to table. They don't have a ton of seats, so sometimes reservations can be hard to get. But the food there is amazing. Definitely highly recommend this. And then kind of hidden here is Back Bar. Again, little kind of a local speakeasy, a little bit of a hidden spot there, but if you know where to go. But arcade games, of course, great cocktails like any speakeasy. And so this is a little bit of what Union Square is all about. Also, the local Somerville TV station is right here. So I also need to take you while we're here to Somerville, or rather, while we're in Union Square, need to take you to Bow Market. So let's scroll out here to get us there a little quickly. Or a little quicker. How about that? And we're just going to type in because so you saw Back Bar real quick there. Bow Market. This is just, again, great spot. So, and again, you can, before I drop down, can you see how it's kind of that little alleyway? And again, I won't be able to kind of describe it well without showing you. And this is all blocked out, but let's see if they'll let us go in there. They won't. Oh man. Okay. Let's see if I can get a 3D view. All right, let's see if this 3D view helps us a little bit more. Okay, here we go. So if you come down Somerville Ave and you kind of tuck right in here, there are a ton of little restaurants and this great little called atrium, courtyard, whatever you want to call it. Technically, maybe a beer garden, but Rebel, great. I want to say wine store, but kind of wine bar. Yeah, how about that wine bar? It's a great vinyl shop here, a couple great clothes boutiques. And so it's kind of this little tucked away area. You can see it's 2 floors and just little storefronts lining both upstairs and downstairs at Bow. So you get Vietnamese food, you get macarons, you can get vegetarian, you can get a cocktail, wine. It also extends a little bit over here to Mike and Patty's. You have the Nook over here. And so, again, I want to see if I can get down to ground level real quick. Well, let me in. Come on, go in. No, it won't. But if I go back, I'm like, I feel like we can also, like, we're kind of waving from afar, like, hey, Bow Market, we see you. So, again, just to give you a sense of where that is. So right next to Union Square, as we get back out to our non-satellite view. So if you coming up Somerville Ave, Bow Market right there. And if you're wondering where it is, Union Square right there, just down Somerville Ave. And then for perspective, Assembly Square is over here, this little beige space on the map. Oh, also I'd be remiss. If you're a brewery fan, make sure you stop by Aeronaut Brewing. Good spot in Somerville. And do need to mention, oh, that's sorry, I can't mention that. It's going to be outside of, all right, yeah, I can't mention it. It's outside. It's outside. It's outside of Somerville. All right, sorry, let me go back. Also, real quick, if you do like breweries, we've talked a lot about restaurants and cocktails, but if you do like breweries, make sure you check out Aeronaut Brewing Company. Good spot in Somerville. I mean, there are a ton of local breweries all around and in Boston, but we'll make sure mention this one here in Somerville. Also, going back down Union Square, if you want to throw axes, urban axes, fun outing. I haven't done it yet, but I've had a bunch of friends and family who have gone out and tried to say it's amazing. So actually, axe throwing is still a box I need to check. But again, make sure you check out that if you're in Union Square. So those are some of the spots. Oh, also, just real quick, transportation wise, again, showed you the Davis Square tea stop. This is a big thing that went in not too long ago, but the Medford Tufts tea stop. And technically it's in Medford, but obviously people who live right on that Medford Somerville line. So there it is right there, right on the Medford Somerville line. This has been a big thing for that side of Medford and Somerville, the Green Line connecting down into the city. So again, like so many parts of Somerville and Boston in general that weren't a thing not too long ago, as a new T stop does definitely help the connectivity of Somerville to the rest of Boston and greater Boston area. And just the Assembly, by the way, Assembly is the orange line. So if you're on the east side of Somerville, that will get you into the city as well. All right, so quicker side as we're talking about Union Square, because I just want to show you, first off, some of your transportation options, right? Okay, so you have two stops down on the east side of Somerville, next to Union Square. So you got the East Somerville stop, and they have this little extension that goes right off of Union Square. So again, this one goes all the way up past McGoon Square over to Tufts Medford. And so kind of well covered public transportationally wise, if that's a word, and it's not, but with your public transportation in Somerville, be it the Green Line coming down to Boston, you also have the Orange Line going through Assembly and Sullivan Square, and then we talked about the Red Line in Davis Square. So you have those transportation items, so good to know. Also, in terms of development in Somerville, you're seeing a different kind of development than you are, frankly, in the other areas of Somerville. So if I can take you down to Prospect Street, let's see if I can drop right here and show you what I'm talking about. So, and here we are right there. So again, these high rises or these new, really brand new buildings really popped up in the last year or two, we'll call it, maybe three. But these are developments, be it the retail and the commercial space down below, and the and apartments and condos being available. These are developments you're not necessarily going to see like in your Davis Square. Well, maybe you will, but generally the renovation and the renovation is going to be of those multi-families, those triple deckers and those double deckers, or those single families that are being converted and renovated accordingly. So that's the type of renovation and updates you're going to see, in the western or maybe central side of Somerville. And Dunkin' Donuts, surprise. Not that I don't love Dunkin' Donuts, I do. But in terms of where you're going to see developments and buildings like this happening, it's going to be more on the eastern side of Somerville. So right down here in Union Square, and then, popping back out a little bit, we already talked about Assembly Square. Also, coincidentally, maybe not coincidentally enough, Assembly Square over here, where we've seen all those, basically the building of this area between the shops, the restaurants, and the grocery stores, and again, all the condo and apartment buildings and hotels over there as well. So, this is where you're seeing the big developments in Somerville, is over on the east side of things, and you're seeing the kind of the renovations happen, renovations and updates happen more over this side. So there you go. So again, just scrolling back out to the wider view of Somerville here. Again, a town that is very square based, or I'd say it has its pockets where, with what's happening and the fun spots, quote unquote, kind of condensed into different areas, be it Davis Square, Assembly Square, or Magoon Square. You also have Beale Square and Teal Square that are the smaller squares, but again, all these different areas have their own distinct vibe or atmosphere or kind of feel. And of course, you got Tufts right here, so you have kind of that college town feel as well. Even though Tufts is kind of technically more in Medford than it is in Somerville, it's right there. And so, again, very partial to Somerville because it's a place that I called home for a number of years. Absolutely loved it there. And with the housing market, you definitely have your opportunities, be it an apartment, condos, single family. Again, if you're looking for yard space, if you're looking for big backyard, big front yard, could be difficult to find, but again, is a good spot outside the city without necessarily living in the city. So that is our tour of Somerville. After hearing and seeing all that, is Somerville the right spot for you? Well, if you're looking for a neighborhood that definitely has 1 foot firmly planted in kind of urban living, but enough out the city that still maybe has a little bit of a suburban feel, if you will. If you're looking for a town or neighborhood that has a couple of centers where everything is kind of happening condensed, squares, if you will, with each square having its own distinct vibe or atmosphere, then maybe Somerville is your place. So make sure you like and subscribe for more of these neighborhood tours and insider tips on Boston real estate and greater Boston real estate and what it's like to live here. Of course, make sure you check out my full Moving to Boston playlist for all the deep dives into the towns and neighborhoods in and around the city of Boston. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.